Welcome to the Texas Department of Transportation Corpus Christi District's pre-recorded virtual public hearing for the US 77 Sinton Improvement Project. We appreciate your interest in this project and thank you for your participation. This presentation will discuss the proposed improvements to US 77 from Business 77 South to Business 77 North in San Patricio County, Texas. At the end of the presentation, we will provide you with commenting options for any questions or input you may have. To be included in the official public hearing record, comments must be received on or before Friday, January 28th, 2022 at 11:59 p.m. Let's get started. Given the unique circumstances of the COVID-19 outbreak, along with our commitment to protecting public health during this pandemic, TxDOT is offering this public hearing in an online format and providing an in-person option for individuals who would like to participate in person instead of online. In-person attendees will be able to view the same presentation delivered in the online public hearing, which will be playing on a screen. Review hard copies of the project materials, ask questions of TxDOT staff and/or consultants from a socially distanced approach, and leave written comments. All project information can be found on the project website at www.txdot.gov. Keyword search US 77 Sinton Improvement. This virtual public hearing is being held to present information on the project development process and receive input from the public on the proposed US 77 Sinton Improvement Project. You may have heard previous public hearings conducted by TxDOT. However, for the benefit of those who have never attended one, I will explain why and how the department conducts a public hearing. A public hearing has four essential purposes: to describe the project to the public, including known potential project impacts to the human and natural environment, to inform the public of the status of planning efforts on the project and recommendations based on technical analysis performed to date, to provide the public an opportunity to view information and express their ideas and concerns at this stage in the planning process when there is still flexibility to respond to comments and location and design decisions have not been finalized. And finally, to develop a record of public views and participation to accompany recommendations for subsequent decisions. This virtual public hearing is being held in compliance with both federal and state laws. Documentation of this meeting will be included in the project record and be posted to the project webpage on txdot.gov. Keyword search US 77 Sinton Improvement. The US 77 Sinton Improvement Project is located on US Highway 77 west of the city of Sinton in San Patricio County. The project limits begin where US 77 and Business 77 separate on the south side of Sinton and end where US 77 and Business 77 converge on the north side of Sinton. The project is approximately 6 miles long. The primary purpose of the proposed project is to improve safety and mobility by upgrading the roadway to interstate standards as part of the future Interstate Highway 69 corridor. Early in project development, information was gathered to help design the proposed project. This information included traffic and crash data, flooding and drainage patterns, and planned developments within the project area. Later in this presentation, we will discuss specific environmental and engineering constraints that impacted project design. As part of project development, one of the first things our team did was analyze available crash data. This image shows that in the past 9 years, the majority of crashes within the project area occurred at intersections. Sadly, a number of these crashes resulted in fatalities. The proposed project will construct a new overpass at CR 1196 and help reduce the potential for accidents at this intersection. The proposed project would include the following improvements. Continuous frontage roads would be constructed with entrance and exit ramps, and an overpass would be constructed at CR 1196 along with intersection improvements. By constructing frontage roads and exit and entrance ramps, we are controlling access to the freeway and separating high-speed freeway traffic from lower-speed local traffic. This separation reduces the potential for accidents. In addition, in the event accidents or other incidents require closing the main lanes, traffic may be detoured onto the frontage roads. Typical sections are used to explain how the roadway looks today, compared to how the roadway would look after construction of the proposed project. Looking at the top figure, the existing typical section for US 77 includes two 12-foot wide lanes in each direction, 10-foot wide outside shoulders, and 4-foot wide inside shoulders. The bottom figure shows the proposed typical section. The proposed project would use existing roadway pavement in some areas, with the existing northbound lanes becoming the northbound frontage road, and the existing southbound lanes being upgraded and converted into the new northbound main lanes. New southbound main lanes and frontage roads would be constructed. The proposed project would consist of two 12-foot wide freeway lanes with 10-foot wide outside shoulders and 4-foot wide inside shoulders in each direction. The frontage roads would consist of two 12-foot wide lanes with 8-foot wide outside shoulders and 4-foot wide inside shoulders in each direction. The northbound and southbound main lanes would be separated by a 60-foot to 64-foot grassy median. Based on the preliminary design, this project would require approximately 97 acres of additional right-of-way. No additional easements would be needed. The existing right-of-way width varies from 230 to 660 feet, and the proposed right-of-way width would vary between 230 and 930 feet. Impacts to residences and businesses were avoided whenever possible. The project was designed based on current TxDOT designs, standards, and known environmental and engineering constraints. Based on preliminary design, the project would result in 2 residential displacements and 2 commercial displacements. Right-of-way acquisition would be completed in accordance with the Uniform Relocation Assistance and Real Property Acquisition Policies Act of 1970 as amended. Brochures titled Landowner's Bill of Rights, Relocation Assistance, and State Purchase of Right-of-Way are available at TxDOT.gov and by clicking on the TxDOT Right-of-Way information link located on the virtual public hearing webpage. These materials contain detailed information to inform you of your rights and to provide information about the TxDOT right-of-way acquisition process. The National Environmental Policy Act, also known as NEPA, requires federal agencies to assess the environmental effects of their proposed actions prior to making decisions. TxDOT carries out the environmental review process for applicable transportation projects under an agreement with the federal government. Under NEPA, an environmental assessment is being prepared for the US 77 Sinton Improvement Project. The purpose of this EA is to study the potential environmental consequences of the proposed project and determine whether an environmental impact statement, EIS, is needed. The EA includes an analysis of community impacts, including displacements and access, vegetation, threatened and endangered species, water resources, air quality, archaeological and historical resources, hazardous materials, traffic noise, farmland soils, and environmental justice, including minority and low-income groups. The public hearing is part of the environmental process. Once public hearing comments have been addressed and any additional coordination is conducted, A final EA will be prepared. If, upon completion of the environmental review process, TxDOT determines the proposed project would have no significant adverse effects, TxDOT will prepare and sign a finding of no significant impact, FONSI. The FONSI will be made available to the public. Based on the results of technical studies, the project area exhibits a high probability for archaeological deposits and will require an archaeological survey. This survey will be completed following right-of-way acquisition. Suitable habitat is present in the area for state-listed species. The project will implement best management practices for amphibians, bats, terrestrial reptiles, birds, vegetation, and water quality. Bat boxes will be installed at Chiltepin Creek bridges. These provide roosting habitat to bat species whose populations have been in decline. The proposed project would include work within areas of FEMA's designated floodplain and is anticipated to impact potentially jurisdiction waters, including Chiltepin Creek and 3 ephemeral drainages. Work is anticipated to be authorized under a non-reporting nationwide permit. If impacts to jurisdictional waters exceed the thresholds included in the nationwide permit, TxDOT will coordinate with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to obtain the appropriate permit. During project development, the project team evaluated several engineering and right-of-way constraints, including the following features. A pond is located on the Love's Truck Stop property. This pond was constructed to help manage drainage and prevent flooding. Impacts to the pond were avoided to prevent creating drainage issues or other environmental impacts. A major water line known as the Mary Roads Pipeline is located on the east side of the project. If the pipeline needed to be relocated due to the proposed project, utility relocation would be very costly and would require additional time to complete. The U.S. Army Reserve Training Center is located on the east side of the project. Additional time would be needed to acquire this type of property, and relocation could be more costly than other types of property. A railroad is located adjacent to the project at the northern and southern project limits. When a project is located near a railroad or has the potential to affect safe operations, TxDOT must coordinate with the railroad during the design phase. This process is typically referred to as the railroad coordination and can add significant time to project development. If a project is expected to impact the railroad, agreements must be negotiated, and the railroad may have specific requirements that TxDOT must meet. For example, new at-grade railroad crossings are typically not allowed unless other crossings can be removed. Due to these and other project constraints, the proposed project would only acquire new right-of-way on the west side of US 77. In addition, relocating this utility could result in disruption of water service to customers. Prior to December 16, 2014, the Federal Highway Administration, or FHWA, reviewed and approved documents prepared under the National Environmental Policy Act, known as NEPA. However, on December 16, 2014, the Texas Department of Transportation assumed responsibility from FHWA through a Memorandum of Understanding to review and approve certain assigned NEPA environmental documents. This Memorandum of Understanding between TxDOT and FHWA was updated on December 9, 2019. The review and approval process applies to this project. Notices for this virtual public hearing with in-person option were advertised in the News of San Patricio in English and Spanish and on the TxDOT.gov website under Hearings and Meetings Schedule. The TxDOT Public Information Office also prepared a news media release to advertise the public meeting. The TxDOT roadway design schematics are available on the project website at www.txdot.gov, keyword search US 77 Sinton Improvement. Now let's talk about the schedule of this project. A combination of state and federal funding of approximately $94 million has been identified for construction of the proposed project. The project team began work on the proposed project in January 2019. A notice and opportunity to comment was provided to adjacent property owners and local officials in September 2021. A virtual public hearing with in-person option is scheduled for January 13th, 2022. The next step in the process is to finalize a schematic design, which is anticipated in summer of 2022. Final environmental assessment (EA) and finding of no significant impact is anticipated to be completed summer of 2022. Following receipt of a finding of no significant impact, or FONSI, we would move into the next stage of project development, and TxDOT would begin the right-of-way acquisition process and utility coordination. TxDOT would then develop detailed design plans, also known as plans, specifications, and estimates, PS&E. Construction is anticipated to begin in early 2026. Through a combination of state and federal funding, approximately $94 million have been identified for construction of the proposed project. Comments will be accepted in several ways. You may fill out an online comment form by visiting www.txdot.gov, keyword search US 77 Sinton Improvement. Submit a written comment via email to jason.alvarez@txdot.gov or kimberly.amy@txdot.gov. Submit a written comment via USPS mail to TxDOT, Corpus Christi District Office. Attention, Kimberly Amy, 1701 South Padre Island, Corpus Christi, Texas, 78416. Or members of the public may call 833-933-0445 and verbally provide testimony from 4:30 p.m. Thursday, January 13th, 2022 until 11:59 p.m. on Friday, January 28th, 2022. All verbally provided testimony and timely written comments will be considered by TxDOT and must be received or postmarked by Friday, January 28th, 2022 to be part of the official virtual public hearing record. Following this virtual public hearing, TxDOT will provide responses to all comments received. These responses will be available for viewing within the public hearing summary report on the project website at www.txdot.gov, keyword search US 77 Sinton Improvement. Questions may be asked at any time during the project development and directed to the TxDOT project manager, Jason Alvarez, at jason.alvarez@txdot.gov, or the TxDOT environmental coordinator, Kimberly Amy, at kimberly.amy@txdot.gov. Information regarding the proposed project are on file and available for inspection Monday through Friday between the hours of 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. at the Corpus Christi District Office at 1701 South Padre Island Drive, Corpus Christi, Texas. For additional information, visit www.txdot.gov and use keyword search US 77 Sinton Improvement, or scan the QR code for more project details. That concludes our presentation. Thank you for taking the time to view this presentation and participate in the virtual public hearing with in-person option. Please remember to submit your comments by January 28th, 2022. And thank you again for participating and have a great day.